A forgotten artifact lies in pieces on a planet far from Earth. Few know it exists except those who took it back and those whose ancestors created it. 4 young people are thrown into a race against emissaries of the gods to find its pieces. Mistrust, greed, and magic are tangled in an endless web. What will the fate be of the universe once it is found and reassembled? Get Scepter of the Gods, The Rod of Truth now on Amazon, and get wrapped up in the saga that will not let you go.
Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day. This is a special episode in a series of podcasts based on Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. For several years now, I have gone back to the habits taught in this book to prepare for the coming year and home in closer and closer to my lifelong dream and my goals so that I could more effectively achieve my goals. Year after year, we hear people joking about setting New Year's resolutions and then abandoning them by February. Personally, I don't find that very funny. I hope that your resolutions are more important to you than to give them up after only a month or two. What if you were to set 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most resolutions or goals for 2024, and then at the end of 2024, find that you nailed each one of them? You can. I set 2 goals that to me were very large. As I talk about in the Motivational Devotional, I had to change and grow to become more than I was in order to achieve those goals. As I say this now, I have done that. I changed. I grew. I achieved. Starting with the November 27, 2023 podcast and running through the New Year's Eve podcast, this series offers 35 episodes of principles, inspiration, and motivation that I use toward fulfilling my own lifelong dream. I have audacious goals for 2024, but only 3, because more than that will water down your efforts. I will achieve mine by this time next year. You can do the same. And I hope you will pursue yours with relentless intent. If you find these helpful, please go to the Motivational Devotional Facebook page and let me know. For now, let's get on with it. What do you think about rocks? Having a reputation for having rocks in your head is not a good thing, but being rock solid is a great reputation. Having something written in stone is critical when it's really important, like your lifelong dream or your values. Big rocks are not much fun to move, but they look really cool in your landscaping. If you had a few dropped off for your landscaping project, you would probably not plant an entire garden around your house and then decide where to place the rocks, would you? I mean, they would just be in your way if there were not physical rocks, but instead were stones upon which you had written your values and your lifelong dream. It would be critical for those to not be in the way because those are your way. Those rocks are the big rocks in your life. You got them. You do. I do. Everybody does. They aren't to-do lists. These big rocks are the fundamental things that make us who we are. Stephen Covey wrote about these with his 3rd habit of highly successful people of first things first. He used the example of rocks, sand, and gravel in a jar. The sand and gravel represent what we now think of as the whirlwind of daily activity. It will always be there, and it will never be 100% completed. Regardless of the day and regardless of what you plan to do, there will always be that stuff that goes on and tries to make you deal with it first. You know, things like housework, urgent phone calls, people saying they need your help with something they probably should do themselves, mail, email, bills. You know, the list can go on, but you get the idea. It's not that this stuff shouldn't get done, and it's not that any of it is unnecessary, but it is stuff that will occupy you all day long if you let it, and you still won't get around to paying attention to your values or your really big goals. Covey would do a visual example that I tried myself once, and this is absolutely true. He would fill a jar half full of sand and another quarter full with small gravel, meaning that we fill our days with busy, urgent things to do. He would then try to place 5 large rocks in the jar, but only 1 or 2 would fit. If we are always chasing urgent things, the big important things driven by our values are squeezed out and we don't have time for them. Well, then he would dump out all the sand, place all 5 of the large rocks in the jar, and guess what? Amazingly, he could pour 100% of the sand and the gravel back into the jar. He illustrated his point well in that by placing values as the center of our attention and pursuing a few value-driven goals, we can still get everything else done that needs done. In fact, we will find that we have time and presence of mind to enjoy the journey as well. When you are placing your values and your really big goals first, all of creation conspires in your favor. Trust that the universe always has your back. Stephen Covey included the simple statement, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Motivational Devotional is in production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.